Welcome to Darker Things. I'm Todd Duncan. This is a channel where we delve into the darkest corners of human history. Today, we explore the lives of the infamous individuals whose actions have left an indelible mark on the world. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Wayne Gacy, David Koresh, and the Reverend Jim Jones. We'll seek to uncover the socio-economic and psychological factors that may have turned them into the notorious figures they became, and compare their path to infamy. Brace yourselves as we embark on a journey into the seeds of darkness. This is Fiends on Darker Things. Jeffrey Dahmer, known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, exhibited disturbing behavior from a young age. Born in 1960, his childhood was marred by his mother's mental illness and his parents' tumultuous relationship. Even as a child, Dahmer displayed an unusual fascination with dead animals, often collecting and dissecting them. This early obsession with death foreshadowed the gruesome acts he would commit later in life. During his teenage years, Dahmer became increasingly isolated, turning to alcohol to cope with his inner turmoil. Struggling with his sexuality and identity, he found solace in the dark fantasy, which soon spiraled out of control. By young adulthood, Dahmer's urges had escalated to murder. His first victim was killed just 3 weeks after graduating from high school. Over the next decade, he would claim 60 more lives. Psychologists suggest that Dahmer's broken family, lack of strong parental guidance, and potential neurological issues contributed to his descent into madness. His need for control or deep-seated feelings of abandonment fueled his horrific acts. Ted Bundy, one of America's most notorious serial killers, had a complex and conflicting childhood. Born in 1946, Bundy grew up believing his grandparents were his parents, and his mother was his sister. Discovering the truth about his parentage left Bundy with feelings of betrayal and anger. Early on, he exhibited deceitful and manipulative behavior, masking his inner turmoil with a charming facade. In his teenage years, Bundy struggled with identity and relationships. Despite academic prowess and success, he was socially awkward and often felt inadequate, harboring resentment towards women. As a young adult, Bundy's charming exterior hid a dark interior. Failed relationships and a deep-seated anger led him to commit his first murder. The years, he killed at least 30 women across several states. Bundy's narcissistic personality traits, combined with early rejection and feelings of inadequacy, contributed to his violent behavior. His need for control and power over others drove him to commit unimaginable acts. Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, had a childhood marked by his abusive father and struggles to meet parental expectations. Born in 1942, Gacy sought approval and affection from others to compensate for his father's disdain. Health issues and bullying further isolated Gacy during his teenage years. Despite these challenges, he took on early leadership roles, trying to fit in socially and gain acceptance. As a young adult, Gacy appeared to be a model citizen. He married, became involved in his community, and even entertained children as Pogo the Clown. However, his secret homosexual activities and dark urges led him down a path of crime. Gacy's facade began to crumble with his first arrest. Ultimately, he was convicted of sexually assaulting and murdering 33 young men and boys, burying many of them in the crawl space of his home. Gacy's deep-seated need for control and approval, coupled with the impact of his abusive upbringing, drove him to his horrific acts. His dual life as a community leader and serial killer shocked the world. David Koresh, born Vernon Wayne Howell in 1959, grew up in a troubled family with an absent father. His early life was influenced by religion, which would later define his identity. Struggling in school and claiming to have religious visions, Koresh dropped out as a teenager. His initial involvement with the Branch Davidians set the stage for his rise to power. In his young adulthood, Koresh's charisma and claimed prophecies gained him a following. As he rose to leadership within the Branch Davidians, his practices became increasingly controversial and paranoid. The infamous Waco siege ended tragically, with Koresh and many of his followers perishing in a standoff with federal agents. His quest for religious significance and control had devastating consequences. Koresh's unstable family dynamics and quest for religious significance, combined with potential mental health issues, messianic delusions, fueled his path to destruction. Reverend Jim Jones, founder of the People's Temple, was born in 1931. His early fascination with death and religion, along with a troubled family environment, set the stage for his future actions. Jones was a social outcast as a child, finding solace in religion. As a teenager, he actively participated in church and developed socialist beliefs, displaying a charismatic persona. In his young adulthood, Jones founded the People's Temple, gaining a large following. His increasing control over his followers and paranoia culminated in the tragic Jonestown massacre. On November 18, 1978, over 900 people died in a mass suicide murder orchestrated by Jones. His need for control and charismatic authority had a catastrophic result. Jones' early isolation and need for control, combined with his charismatic authority and potential narcissistic traits, led to the tragic event in Jonestown. Despite their vastly different backgrounds, these individuals shared common themes in their early lives: troubled family environment, early behavioral issues, and a deep need for control and significance marked their paths. While each reacted differently to their upbringing, their teenage years revealed varying degrees of social isolation and early signs of deviant behavior. In young adulthood, their paths diverged significantly. Some, like Bundy and Koresh, gained early success, while others faced early legal troubles. Common psychological traits, such as narcissism and a need for control, are evident in all five. However, their socio-economic backgrounds and environments influence their actions in unique ways.
There's a little town in Indiana. The moment I think of it, a great deal of pain comes. As a child, I was undoubtedly one of the poor in the community, never accepted, born as it were on the wrong side of the tracks.
I grew up with Jimmy Jones. We started first grade together. My brothers used to go to Jimmy's house and hung around his barn, which was where he played. My brothers came back with stories and conducted funerals for all animals that had died. Jimmy's father did not work, did not have a job, and was a drunk. Jim's mother had to work in order to support the family.
From the time I was 5 years old, I thought Jimmy was a really weird kid. There was something not quite right. He was obsessed with religion. He was obsessed with death. A friend of mine told me that he saw Jimmy kill a cat with a knife. Well, having a funeral for it was a little strange. Killing the animal was very strange.
I was 19 when I ran away, and that was in 61. I went to Las Vegas for 3 months. Took my car and left.
Yeah.
I worked for Powell Mortuary, being the night man picking up bodies at the hospitals and stuff for them. I worked as a night man only. I did have nothing to do with the bodies. All this talk that I slept with the dead ones or had sex with dead bodies, there is no truth to any of that.
You didn't live in the mortuary.
I lived in the mortuary, yes, but not in the embalming room. I mean, they make it sound like, I slept in the crypts with them. And I never climbed into a coffin or anything like that. That is so damn ridiculous. It's the same thing. The contention is that I slept all night with Robert P. If you want to say I slept in the same house with a dead body, okay, fine, I'll buy that. But in the same room, no. And besides, the dead won't bother you. It's the living you got to worry about. I felt things were going to work out because I knew that I didn't do the killing, and I thought it would come out in the trial. But Amaranthi, with this insanity defense, and again, you can call it my ignorance of the law. It's like I explained in a letter to Chief Justice William Clark. The evidence based is on the theory that the more sensational the case is, the more crazier it sounds, the insanity defense would work.
I'm headed reporting down here.
What, if you can recall, was the next thing you said to me or that I said to you after we had a discussion? Well, pardon me, let's back up to the question you asked, what are you doing in my neighborhood? Okay. What was my response, according to you?
You were locked.
Did it say anything else?
Not to my recollection.
At that time, I didn't say anything else to your record.
Just that you was locked.
And what else did, if anything, did we discuss that time? That you can remember. Questions that you might have had, for example.
I had where you've been. You told me that the drive-in theaters in the town in Pearl.
And that occurred about the same time, and the stream of events we're talking about.
Probably a couple of 2 or 3 things there.
Was that before you started shining your flashlight in the windows?
That would be quiet.
And were you familiar with any drive-in theater in the neighborhood?
Yes, I am.
Did you know whether or not a drive-in movie was playing there?
Yes, I do.
At that time?
Yes, sir.
What did you know?
I sent the one trooper back out to check the marquee, and
When did you send him out?
while we were still there or immediately following, something.
So you didn't know for sure that movie was not playing there at that time. That's what I'm getting at. Is that true? No.
No, I was sure, but to make positive in my own mind, I'd been patrolling that movie in that area most of that night.
What's the next thing, a question that you asked, or that I, a response that I gave you prior to the time that you started examining the interior of the car for your flat? Is there anything else to say to me?
Not that I recall.
Anything else I said to you?
Before I
left me at the rear or the front of your car with Officer Fowles, and we began examining the car. Anything else you can recall?
Oh, the only recall is I asked you to stand by my right front fender.
Well, let's return now to your process of looking in the car with your flashlight. You described crowbar, seat being out, and the satchel. Is there anything else in the interior of the car that caught your attention?
The missing seat, the crowbar, and the satchel was the main thing that I saw.
Okay. What did you do after you completed your looking in the car?
That's when I called for a detective car from the county.
Okay. And how did you summon the detective car?
By radio.
Why did you summon?
He paid me together. No edge.
You summoned it by radio?
Yes.
And this was it a Salt Lake County Sheriff's detective that you summoned?
Yes, sir.
Do you know the name of the officer? Did you call for a specific detective?
No, I just asked for a detective car.
We studied David Koresh and the French to Fiends and the tragedy of Waco, Texas.
I saw this hitchhiker about a mile from my house, and he caught my eye. I drove past him, thought to myself, should I stop, pick him up, or should I just keep on going? I wish I just kept on going, but I didn't. Turned around, picked him up, and that's when the nightmare became a reality. It just seemed so bizarre to me that this obsession that I had been thinking about and wanting, just all the parts are there, and they make it possible to make it happen. Just at the time when it could happen, when there's nobody at the house.
Understanding the early influences of the notorious figures shed light on the complexities of human behavior. While early intervention might have opened the path, the dark seeds planted in their youth grew into an unimaginable horror. These stories remind us of the importance of nurturing environments, the potential consequences of neglect and abuse. As we reflect on these lives, let us also remember the victims and the lasting impact of the tragedies. Thank you for watching this episode of Darker Things. If you found this exploration insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives in the darkest corners of the human history. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you think. And as always, I'm here to remind you that once you enter the dark, you may never be the same.